So today we are talking about what it's like to be sisters and to have our colors done. And so Bethany and I both had our colors done back in the
Yeah.
1980s
hmm
with Color Me Beautiful. And what was your experience, Bethany?
I was a summer. I was draped with all these lovely colors, lots of pastels, and I liked it. It was all right. But by the 90s, I wasn't following my color system really at all, except for probably still keeping the pastels. But I was looking for brighter colors, more fun colors. Um, I probably even ventured into blacks, which I shouldn't have, but I like the sparkle silver on. I thought it was very dramatic and
Right. Yeah. There was a time when you wore some sort of heavy colors like browns and
yeah.
blacks and
hmm
neutrals and buying in, I think, to, what was going on with fashion
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time.
I like
Um,
to be in the fashion. What was popular, I wanted to be wearing that.
Yes, and she also liked sales.
Oh, love
Very, very
sales.
big on sales. And so if it was on sale, it didn't really matter what color it was, she'd make it work. So I was actually typed to spring, which I turned out to be, because I was warmer. I was draped in peaches, and those colors looked great on me, but I was given a lot of bright colors, and I didn't actually gravitate toward bright colors. They kind of overwhelmed me. And so I ended up kind of tending towards what I would call summer colors, which were more muted, more grayed, and which actually really looked awful on me, really aging. But they felt like a fit for my quieter personality. So if we were to think about who color wise looks like a spring, I win, hands down. Right? I'm the warmer. A lot of people think, oh, all springs are warm. So I fit into that category much easier than my sister. And if we were going to talk about spring personality and sort of what the stereotypical personality is,
I
who,
win.
yes, you would. How would you describe your personality and what we see as that sort of
Um,
spring energy?
Buoyant. Um, what would you say? Just full of energy most of the time, not always, but lots of energy. Like to have people around me. Like to be helping to see others happy and helping and
Yeah, always
caring and
throwing a
encouraging.
party.
Parties, lots of laughter.
Yeah,
Um,
always on the move, doesn't like to sit still for very
Not for
long,
long.
doesn't
Get
do,
bored easy.
yeah, having trouble with this actual
Very. Yeah.
Zoom because she feels very restrained and restricted to have to stay in the same spot,
Mm.
right? So just a
Trying.
higher level of energy. And usually, if we were to, at a party to function together,
hmm
I would be the one who people sort of take off to a corner and start sharing something very serious or, something they're really interested in. They want to just talk one on one with me. And Bethany is
Getting a game going.
right. And
Singing a song.
making sure that everybody's
Yeah.
included and,
Everyone's got their food.
right. And she's just focused on the whole, crowd. And at the end of the day, Bethany feels this wonderful sense of satisfaction. Oh, wasn't that fun? Right?
Yeah, did everybody have a good
Wasn't that
time?
great? And I'm like, melting over in the corner saying, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm so glad that's over. Because we get our energy from different places, but we actually have a very similar energy. We're both lit from within by sunlight. So when we're talking about color analysis, we can't really determine a person's season solely on the temperature of their colors or on their personality because there's many of those factors that are different for each of us. That's why there's so many different subtypes of a season. And so when I first did Bethany's palette, I I was working with a system, pre-made palette system, and it was one of the better ones that's out there. Absolutely, well, probably the best one that's out there. But it didn't have the opportunity for me to give her clear colors that were not sort of warm or neutral. There was no option for, really a cool pink. And so I gave her this pink. And it's not terrible, um, but we just found that it didn't really do a lot for her, and particularly when we compared it to other pinks. And so,
And I really wanted a pink. I loved
right,
pinks, bubblegum pink.
right.
Just
We were able
fun.
to give her a lot of really beautiful bright colors that she loved, and she tended to stick in these turquoises and
Hmm.
purples and
Hmm.
and blues, but we just had not quite landed on that pink. And when she and I would go shopping together, I would see, yeah, like that old, what we thought of as a summer pink, a cooler pink, looked great on her, and yet um, there was absolutely nothing summer about her. So a year ago, maybe just
Yeah,
fairly
yeah,
recently,
recent. Yeah.
as I was training her daughter in becoming a seasonal color consultant in the
Behold the
Keiko
pink.
method, we created a new palette for her, and you can see these gorgeous cooler pinks that just do so much more for her than this warmer pink that she was given initially. And that her palette as a whole is quite cool to neutral
And
in
fun.
color temperature. Yes. The colors are not as pastel as what she'd been given as summer colors years ago. They are more mid value colors. She needs a fair bit, except for her softer, tones of pink and a few softer purples. She needs more mid value colors that really rise up to meet her energy. And what we're looking at then in a color palette, this is the color quality of this palette is clear. You can see that the colors are clear, and springs need clear colors. But the quality of the color is important. The temperature of the color, not so important in determining the season. So even though Bethany's colors are cool, we don't put her in a summer camp. We put her in a spring camp because we can see that the clarity of the quality of these colors is what is bringing out in her a an energy. She's lit from within by sunlight, and you can see how these colors light her up.
Can I tell them what kind of a spring I am?
You can,
I
yes.
am a whoopsie daisy spring, and I love that because you can't keep a daisy down. So, whoopsie and up.
Yeah, and that's true. Suzanne Cagle said of springs that springs are reborn every day, that you can't keep them down for long, that they, like a cork in water, they go down, but they keep bubbling back up. And definitely Bethany has that bubbly, that, resilient personality where she's always coming up and smelling like daisies.